Now, I've seen everybody in the Pokemon community talking about this game called Radical Red. This has been what kept people sane the last remaining few months of 2020. And everybody is talking about it, whether they're not talking about how unbelievably difficult the game is, how it's the best Pokemon game ever, how it's the most difficult Pokemon game ever. Hell, even Mystic Umbreon just made a video talking about the best team for Pokemon Radical Red. I figured it was about time I threw my name in the hat. Now, I didn't really have much of an idea of Radical Red was going to be about. I didn't know if it was going to be a different story centered around the Fire Red game, or if it was just supposed to be like this very difficult version of Fire Red where like all the characters in Pokemon are higher level, more experienced, more trainers, and turns out it was the latter. Now, I played the Pokemon game on my PS Vita, and, well, I didn't know what to think of it, so I just went off what I knew. And, to be honest, I didn't know that much. I never exactly beaten Pokemon Fire Red before. But what I knew statistically was that Bulbasaur was the best starter, so I knew that's the Pokemon starter I was starting off with. What I didn't know is that this game gave you an option of playing as a randomizer. From my experience, a randomizer can be really fun, but the detriments usually outweigh the benefits of a randomizer. There is a chance that you could start off with having a very powerful Pokemon, possibly even a legendary, and there's also the chance of you encountering said legendary or powerful Pokemon in upcoming routes. But if said were to happen, the idea sounds good on paper, but if said were to happen, it's nearly impossible, well not impossible, but very difficult to catch said Pokemon. Like, I remember my experience by playing a randomizer with Platinum. I encountered an Articuno, not a very good Pokemon, but a legendary nonetheless, and by then it was a Nuzlocke, so I could only encounter one Pokemon per route. I attempted to capture it, and I had up to 50 Pokeballs at that point of the game, because I didn't have access to Great Balls yet. The catch rate for Articuno was so low that I honestly spent 30 minutes trying to capture it, and it fails. I lost 2 Pokemon during that encounter, too, so I was understandably pissed. So I decided that a randomizer was a no-no. Now, like I said, I started off with Bulbasaur, and I figured that the game was going to be about the same as Pokemon Fire Red. You know, Bulbasaur would be good against Brock, could also be very effective against Misty, and it would be instrumental in taking out Giovanni during the gym leader fight. But when I first entered the route of Pokemon Radical Red, I noticed that the first Pokemon was a Galarian version of Zigzagoon. And I could have been happier to find that because my favorite Gen 8 Pokemon is honestly Obstagoon. It looks so awesome, and it was one of the most badass Pokemon I've ever seen, and I loved the idea that Zigzagoon had a Galarian form, and due to its Galarian form, was able to get access to a third evolution that just made it look like an absolute monster that was also fairly powerful. And I couldn't have thrown that Pokeball fast enough. But that also gave me hindsight to something that was inevitable to come. Seeing as that I encountered a Gen 8 Pokemon in the first route, that could only mean that upcoming trainers and gym leaders were going to have an updated and upgraded team, which intimidated me quite a bit, especially if I'm going to be fighting God tier characters such as the Elite Four and the Champion. But I figured I'd burn that bridge when I get to it. Now, when I crossed through Viridian Forest, I did not expect to see Brennan out of all people. That was the last person I expected to see. Now, I thought that the idea of having other Pokemon protagonists and other Pokemon rivals to be included into Pokemon Radical Red was a really awesome idea. However, I didn't think he'd be as strong as he was when I first battled him. And the only Pokemon he had were a Corphish and a level 9 Treecko. Now, you think that a team like that wouldn't be very effective, especially with someone that has a Bulbasaur who has an advantage of both Pokemon, considering that he's a grass and poison type. I don't know what was it that made Brandon so strong. His moveset was nothing to be surprised at. I don't know if he had perfect IVs and EVs in both his Corphish and Treecko. His Treecko was definitely fast enough to be considered a threat, but nothing out of the ordinary. He was a monster. His Corphish wasn't too big of a problem, but it did do some pretty decent damage with its normal attacking, such as Vice Grip. And that Treecko was so much faster than my Bulbasaur that when it hit Pound, it immediately knocked it out. So when my level 7 of Galarian Zigzagoon with only Tackle and Growl for its moves had to fight this super fast level 9 Treecko, I was honestly intimidated. I tried to growl it so it lowers its attack, but it went first and it gave me a Pound and drop my HP to below half. I realized that then that I was so glad that this wasn't a Nuzlocke, or else I would be starting this game over. Now, I don't think I have to tell you that I lost because I didn't lose, I merely failed to win. To make up for this, I leveled up my Pokemon even more. I made sure that my Zigzagoon was at the same level as my Bulbasaur. It stayed at level 11. It learned a couple new moves. I think it learned Baby Doll Eyes, which lowers the target's attack, and it goes first. And just for security reasons, I also managed to capture a Grubbin and a Spinarak, only because they knew String Shot and Bug Bite. Now, having two bug types that were able to lower the target's speed and do super effective damage, battle wasn't as difficult as I imagined it to be. When I got to Pewter City, I imagined that I just had to go straight to Brock, but until I realized that I had to go to the museum for some reason. And I was honestly intrigued because seeing as this wasn't part of the game, I figured this was some sort of expanded lore they tried to introduce us to. Now, when I went to the museum, I did not know what to expect. It wasn't until I got to the second floor of the museum that I saw someone out of place. So I noticed that this one particular sprite with blue hair, I figured that was the person I had to talk to. When this guy just said his name was Faulkner and I realized that he was the flying type gym leader of the Johto region, I was honestly geeking out. I honestly wish I could have recorded myself when I first encountered Faulkner. And I know for most people that this isn't that big of a deal, but for someone like me, world building is one of, if not the most attractive element for me when it comes to fiction. It's why I love media like Avatar: The Last Airbender and One Piece. And Pokemon has so much potential when it comes to world building. But if it's done right, then Pokemon's world building could be up to the same quality as One Piece. It's why I love the anime Pokemon Journey so much. The idea that having multiple gym leaders for not just one exclusive region, but from another one, made me really excited to experience this game. However, when he asked me to battle him, I was not thinking about how much of a disadvantage my team was in. Having three Pokemon that was at a super disadvantage to Faulkner, one grass type, two bug types, and a dark type? Yeah, you can imagine it wasn't a fantastic start to work with. First time, I don't even know how he managed to beat his first two Pokemon. That level 9 Fletchling wasn't that big of a problem, especially when the only flying type move it knew was Peck, and Bulbasaur was faster than it, so was able to take it out fairly easily. That level 11 Wingull was also pretty easy to take out, seeing I was part water type. I was able to get that out with 2-Hits with a Vine Whip. But a level 11 Corvisquire with Aerial Ace, that thing swept my team so fast, I had my mouth dropped the whole time. I almost felt defeated. Like, I wanted to restart the game and begin all anew. Just from the fact that that level 11 Corvisquire was waiting for me in Pewter City. It wasn't until I walked down to the tall grass to see if I could level up there and try to at least get my Pokemon up to a high enough level to where they can tank 2 hits from those Pokemon. And I realized that there's a Shinx in that patch of tall grass. And not just a Shinx, but a Mareep. I could not be happier to see Pokemon like that. It wasn't until I realized that this game gives us a little bit of help when it comes to fighting these powerful opponents. The game hits that particular Pokemon that'll be very effective against these very powerful trainers. Not just for Faulkner, but for also Brendan. In Viridian Forest, there are a couple of bug types that'd be very effective against his Trico. Training Shinx and Mareep went very smoothly. I was able to train Shinx to the point to where it learned Spark and Charge. I was able to train Mareep to the point to where it evolved into a Flaffy. Now, you think having a mid-stage Electric-type Pokemon and another Electric-type that knew of physical attacking, paralyzing, affecting moves such as Spark would be enough to take care of Faulkner, but it wasn't the fact that Faulkner was just so insanely strong, it's the fact that his moveset was just too good. Having Aerial Ace on a mid-stage level 11 Corvisquire, which is kind of third gym leader level, made that battle so excruciatingly difficult, I really thought I was about to lose again. It took out my Flaffy in one hit with that Aerial Ace, and I honestly held no hope for Shinx to win that battle. Seeing as my mid-stage Electric-type just got bodied. I didn't think that Shinx would be able to handle it. But as miracles happen by the grace of God, not trying to put religion into this video, Shinx lasted with 6 HP. Didn't even have an Oranberry on. And he took out that Corvisquire and I beat Faulkner. But then I knew I had to go and challenge Brock. Now, Brock, I honestly didn't know what to expect. If Faulkner was that powerful, then I honestly expect Brock to be just as strong, if not stronger. The battle with Faulkner, I honestly expected to be as difficult as it was. Faulkner was a flying type gym leader, and I started off with a Bulbasaur. It was only natural I found him difficult. So while I expected the gym battle with Brock to be easy for compensation, however, I did not expect Brock to be the most difficult first gym leader I ever faced in my life. And yes, that includes gym leaders from Pokemon fan games like Pokemon Isolation and Pokemon Rejuvenation and Reborn. Brock is the most difficult first gym leader I've ever faced in my life. Let me just give you an introduction on Brock's overpowered team. An Alolan Geodude to deal with whatever water types you might have in your team, especially for Squirtle choosers, a Vulpix with Will-O-Wisp, Confuse Ray, and Ember to do whatever bug or grass type you have in your team, and a freaking Onix with the move Bulldozer. What is up with these early game trainers having third to fourth gym leader level move? I mean, first Faulkner with Aerial Ace, and now Brock with Bulldoze. Bulldoze is a ground type move that hits not as hard as Magnitude or Earthquake, but it lowers the target's speed every time it makes contact. So unless you one-shot that Onix, which is very difficult to do considering Onix's incredible physical defense and very limited choices on super effective moves to hit Onix with, good freaking luck knocking it out on the first hit. And this is the team that I'm facing with a Bulbasaur. I don't know how people managed to beat Brock with a Charmander. For people who start off Pokemon Radical Red with a Charmander, God bless you and good freaking luck because you are going to need it. Alongside Brock's busted team and overpowered moves, the AIs in this game honestly did get a buff too. Not to mention these new conditions that were implanted into gym battles to make the game even more difficult than it needed to be. First of all, you can't use items in battle anymore. You know like in champion battles, how Cynthia, Lance, and Diantha just spam full restores? And you used to counter this by spamming even more full restores? Yeah, you can't do that. But guess what? You can't do that, but they can. Not to mention the AI strategically switches out their Pokemon whenever the Pokemon reach the red stage of their health. So that when you think you finally got that Onix down to its last sliver of health, and you're planning on using Bubble or Vine Whip, Brock will switch out on you, replace it with his Vulpix, Will-O-Wisp you, trick you into using your attack, switch out back into Onix, and then pull a Bulldoze on you and kill your Pokemon. If you got a Squirtle with you, he'll do the exact same strategy, switch with his Vulpix, Will-O-Wisp you, confuse Ray, then switch to a Alolan Geodude, use Spark on you, and knock out your Squirtle. If you have a Charmander with you, just give up. This game's Mount Moon was never that big of a promise, but even with Team Rocket inevitably waiting for you in the depths of Mount Moon. But in this game, I won't say Team Rocket gave me too big of a trouble. It's nothing compared to Brock and Falkner. But I will say when I left Mount Moon, my Pokemon were in the red and poisoned. I have never felt Team Rocket as a major threat before, even in Generation 7 when Rainbow Rocket had legendary Pokemon on their team. Now in Cerulean City, I realized that we had a couple of battles to deal with. There's actually more to do in Cerulean City than there was to do in Pewter City. Seeing as that we had a rival battle to take care of, and that path of trainers to Bill's house, and of course there's the gym battle with Misty. Now I choose to do the path of trainers first to get two things out the way. To get the rival battle out the way, and to get to Bill's house and get the SSN ticket. Now the battle with our rival wasn't as difficult as I expected to be. I guess I flowered for Algernon my experience of battle in this game. Point is where the battle with our rival wasn't as impactful as I expected to be. Kirlia, Staravia, and his Charmeleon went down fairly easy, including his Rock. Now, the path of trainers, it was great training for my team for the inevitable gym battle with Mist, who I was honestly concerned of. Seeing as Water is a much better type than Rock, seeing that it's both effective in physical and special offense and defense, I was honestly intimidated, and I honestly had no idea what to expect from Misty. And not only was the battle with Misty unpredictable, but I also didn't expect to see Bugsy in Cerulean City. Yes, the Bug-type gym leader from the Johto region, Bugsy. Now, seeing as this game was very up-to-date, I figured that Bugsy was going to have some pretty hardcore, very powerful Bug-type Pokemon on his team. But no, he had Ariados, Lydian, Scyther, and Lydian. I stomped on those bugs and went about my business. Don't even remember what TM he gave me. Now, the gym battle with Misty, oh my god, Misty. That was honestly petrifying. I still remember it to this day. Now, scrolling through YouTube videos, I've seen a lot of Radical Red videos titling the strongest gym leader at a certain point in the game, and a very particular gym leader appeared more often than not, and I'll explain who he is and how I fared against him in the next video coming. But right now, in this video, I say Misty was the most difficult trainer I ever faced in the game till this point. I'm gonna stop talking, I'm gonna just explain her Pokemon. Frogadier. Level 25 with protein, so say bye-bye to those type advantage you might have over it. A Floatzel. Surprisingly fast, surprisingly spongy, able to soak up hits very well, and priority moves in Aqua Jet. And that's not even the most dangerous one. We got a level 28 Starmie, a fast and powerful Pokemon that hits hard and hits fast, and make you cry when the Pokemon go bye-bye, to an A-tier move in Psychic and B-tier in Water Pulse. I underestimated Starmie for the longest time. After battling this version of Misty, I completely understand why Starmie is a great Pokemon throughout all 8 generations. The fact that it was able to outspeed every single Pokemon I had, able to hit hard, even with Pokemon that were in a disadvantage to it. How the hell does a 40 attack water type move take out half of the HP of my newly evolved Ivysaur? That wasn't even a psychic attack, it was Water Pulse. A Frogadier with coverage in Grass Knot, Ice Punch, and Water Pulse for stab. You'd think having 2 electric type Pokemon that have one freshly evolved Luxio and a level 28 Flappy, not to mention a level 29 Ivysaur who just learned Razor Leaf, would be enough to mop the floor with Misty, but no, it wasn't the case. She had coverage for days. This gave me paw flashbacks, damn it. I actually had to battle Misty 3 different times before I finally managed to beat her, and that was by sheer luck too. The only way I beat her is by expertly calculating when exactly she was going to switch out from her Floatzel to her Starmie. And thank God, badge number 2 was ours. And as much as I would love to discuss the eternal hell that is Radical Red's mid-game, I'm going to end the video right here. So if you like this video, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and share this video with your friends, guys. And look forward to part 2 of this discussion, because I know damn well that Radical Red is not done with me, and I am certainly not done with it. So, my kingdom, this is your generous prince, and I am out. Peace.